Now at 6, a touching tribute for a fallen officer. His body escorted in a somber procession. Tonight, the tragic loss raising questions about gun safety.
We'll try not to be complacent, be as vigilant as possible.
After the officer is shot and killed in a gun range.
You could have your share of mistakes. It happens. Unfortunately, this mistake cost him his life.
CBS 4 is live with a life-saving message from a veteran firearms instructor. The death of Customs and Border Protection Officer Jorge Arias is a tragic reminder of how careful officers have to be with firearms. CBS 4's Peter Dench joins us live from Little Havana with more on today's tribute and the stark safety warning for officers and for everybody who handles a gun. Peter.
Well, Elliot, I can tell you dozens of officers were here as the body of Jorge Arias was brought to this funeral home. He'd been with Customs and Border Protection for 9 years. Now, in light of his death, we're taking a closer look at training safety and lessons to be learned. Dozens of officers on motorcycles and in their vehicles honor Jorge Arias as his body is taken from the medical examiner's office to the Caballero Rivero Funeral Home. This 40-year-old Customs and Border Protection officer was shot in a training exercise Wednesday at this West Miami-Dade gun range.
You can get complacent. You could neglect it. You could have your share of mistakes. It happens. Unfortunately, this mistake cost him his life.
Our news partner, the Miami Herald, reported that Arias was involved in a role-playing scenario where one officer tries to subdue a bad guy. The Herald said the officer who shot Arias accidentally replaced a training pistol with a handgun with ammunition.
He definitely should have paid attention to the type of firearm that he was using. If it was a training tool like this, for example, a plastic, completely harmless training aid, there would have been no accident because it had a real bullet inside. He should have been more vigilant about maybe checking the firearm he was using, even before any sort of instruction.
Keon Kamali, the manager of Charlie's Armory and a firearms instructor for 10 years, says a loaded weapon should not have been used during the exercise.
For the purposes of a disarm, it makes absolutely no sense to have a live bullet inside of a firearm.
The Herald also reported Arias was shot once in the chest. Kamali says a bulletproof vest might have saved the officer's life, but he notes,
if you're just conducting an exercise where you're doing a technique to, like, for example, like the disarm this gentleman was doing, I don't think the armor would have been necessary. I mean, there shouldn't have been ammo in the firearm in the first place.
Now, Arias' widow told us she does not blame the other officer in this case. Miami-Dade police tell us they have no new information to release on this incident or how it happened. They're not sure when they will receive a report from the Miami-Dade medical examiner's office. We are live in Miami. Peter Dench, CBS 4 News.